Freddie has out-qualified Nico for the first time this season as the lights are about to go out now, and we've gotten a pretty good start with this mixed-up grid as we've got a Lotus and a Sauber ahead of us, and we're actually being squeezed into the wall here by Grosjean. Freddie was not happy at all, and that is not the last we see of Grosjean in this race. And Bianchi there is parking his car on the apex, not the most intelligent position to park your car, but or to let the leaders through. But also we've got Vettel who we're trying to let through as well, and I'm trying to let him through. There's so much going on at the moment, I don't even know what to say. Really want to score points, absolutely desperate for them. But as you can see, coming into this next corner now, we've lost the car, and Grosjean hits us into a spin, and wow, just behind us. But then Verne goes to the smallest gap ever and causes us to crash again, causing us to lose more positions. I mean, this is just absolutely stupid. And yeah, that was a very frustrating end to a very frustrating Grand Prix in the end. So there we go then, guys. Freddie Gray, fastest in practice for the Canadian Grand Prix. A really good way to start off this weekend after this disappointment of Monaco. But I really don't think this is a true representative as to where we are in comparison to the AI. Because I think the AI obviously are running a lot higher fuel than ourselves. So I'm not really expecting us to be that quick over the course of the weekend. But as you can see right now, this is going to be a wet qualifying session once again, just like in Monaco. And this first session will be on the intermediate tyres, but however it is getting wetter, so we may have to go over to the wet tyres, maybe later on in this session, or in Q2, but obviously we want to set as many times as possible just in case it does get wetter, which it does look like it is getting, to be honest. As we do set a 1 minute 22 dead, which puts us 6th currently. But then something very weird happens here. Felipe Massa moves over on us, as we were going to overtake him as he was on a cooldown lap, I think. And basically, I went around the outside of him, but then he sort of moved over on me, and then there goes my teammate, Nico Hulkenberg. But look at this. Massa seems to park up. He's going quite slowly. And then look at that. He just parks up. I don't know how that damaged his car that badly. I've never really seen that before with the AI. I mean, it was really just a light up and... I mean, it would have given him a puncture in real life, but... And as you can see there, he literally just disappeared. So that was strange. But anyway, I think with this time that we've done now is probably good enough to get us through and into Q2, and indeed it is. We ended up 10th, actually ahead of our teammate Nico Hulkenberg. And look at all those cars out of Q1, quite a few surprises there. In fact, Kobayashi and Bianchi through into Q2, so brilliant from them as we do set. Indeed it is wet tyre conditions in practice now, as Ricciardo does hold us up there a little bit, as we are sitting in 11th currently, just ahead of Kobayashi and Alonso. So our time is actually quite a bit off. In fact, it's Alonso's time now Kvyat's time. I think the AI cars begin to go quicker. I don't know how, because the track is definitely getting a lot wetter. But as we come across the line and set a 1 minute 26.3, we don't actually gain any more positions. In fact, it's still Verne. And then Raikkonen, who sort of gets in the way there. But unfortunately, we couldn't set a fast enough time to get us through into Q3. So we're just going to have to put up with 13th for this race. And yeah, that's unfortunate, but this will be another 50% race. I just enjoy 50% races because there's more strategy involved, and it's a bit more exciting than this 25% race, in my opinion. But the strategy for Freddie today is to do a 2-stop, an option, and a prime stint right at the end of the race. So yeah, let's see how we get on. Yeah, so that is slightly unfortunate that Hulkenberg is starting ahead of us for this Grand Prix. But look at that, Kobayashi and Bianchi right behind us as the lights are building up now. 5 lights, and they are out now, and we've gotten a pretty good second phase of the start actually. We're actually gaining on Verne and Button. We're going to look to go down the inside of turn 1 here, and we just about gained those positions on Button and Verne as they're going to go try and go around the outside of Bottas in the Williams Martini. I've actually downloaded the skin, the Williams Martini skin, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, down the inside of Button now, and possibly Verne as well is going quite slowly, and so is Kvyat, and we passed him as well, and we've actually stuck with Bottas here, and we're going to try and get him, although he does have really good straight line speed in that Williams, so it's going to be tough to keep with him, especially on the straights. Obviously there is quite a lot of straights around this track, but as you can see, we tried to go around the outside, but Bottas was getting supreme traction. Also, look at him pulling away there. The straight line speed and the traction that Williams is so much greater than it is in the Force India. But now, skipping on to lap 6, nothing else really happened. I mean, this race was kind of strange. Normally it's us defending, but in fact, we were sort of in the middle of nowhere, really. We had nobody that close in front and nobody that close behind. As you can see there, our DRS failed. Not for the last time in this race, actually, which is a bit unfortunate. But as you can see, Vettel setting the fast lap there, so we're about 2 seconds off the AI's pace, and really, I think Bottas is pulling away from us ever so slightly, but however, I think he is doing a different strategy in the middle of the stint. I think he's going on to the primes, while I'm going to be pitting a lap earlier and doing the undercut. Freddie decided to do this simply because he wanted to close that gap on Bottas, as he knew that he was going to be on the prime tyres in this middle stint. Now, as you can see, Freddie also has to change his front wing as well, because he accidentally damaged it during that first stint. But the thing is with Bottas is that he will be on the prime tyres in that middle stint, while Freddie will be on the option tyres, so obviously he'll have a massive pace advantage, as I do believe that the option tyres are about a second quicker around this track than the primes. As you can see now, we haven't really rejoined any traffic. We rejoined in between Jean-Eric Verne and Adrian Sutil, who will be pitting soon. As you can see, cars in the pits now. We've obviously got ahead of Button, who was like 1 position behind us before we pitted. But yeah, I don't think Bottas has pitted yet. I'm not quite sure. I know that Kvyat ahead of us hasn't pitted yet, but I think points is quite possible today. And really, I think the aim from here is just to try and finish ahead of Bottas. And as you can see, there is Kvyat, and Bottas is actually rejoined ahead of us. But however, we should be able to catch him quite quickly in this stint. The gap at the moment is just over 9 seconds, but hopefully we can close that gap gradually in this stint. As you can see now, on lap 14, we are now beginning to catch up to what I believe is a back marker. I think this is the first back marker we have actually lapped this race. Indeed, it is Ericsson, who kind of does his best to get in our way, to be honest, just really showing no effort to get out of the way. But anyway, Bottas is 6.4 seconds ahead of us at the moment. Now, 1 second behind Valtteri Bottas, and we're going to be pitting in this lap. Our tyres weren't really too bad at the end of the stint, but we are pitting in now for a set of prime tyres to go 15 laps to the end. Hopefully they will last. I think they will. I don't think we'll really suffer the tyre wear that we did suffer obviously in Monaco, which really did ruin our race. But hopefully with this, we should be able to get a good undercut on Bottas, who's going to go a couple of laps more than we are. And will we rejoin ahead of Button? Well, I believe Button did actually pit as well. In fact, it is going to be Felipe Massa, who might just rejoin ahead of us. Will we actually get out ahead of him here? It's going to be very tight here, actually. Although we do outbrake ourselves and we actually put a wheel onto the grass, we have just stayed ahead of Massa, so that's absolutely crucial. Because if Massa got ahead of us, then I think he might have actually held us up a little bit and might have hampered us quite dramatically. But we've actually pulled away from it a little bit. As we do now skip onto lap 23, I think this is the lap where Bottas will be pitting. And indeed he is. You can see Bottas there, who is in the pits. He's just exiting the pits and crossing the line now. Will we be able to get ahead of him here? Shifting down to second gear now. And I think we are ahead. Indeed we are ahead. But now, what we've got to do, we've got to defend like hell. Because obviously Bottas is on the option tyres now, while we're on the prime tyres. So he's going to be basically a second quicker than us per lap, as we've got a Marussia ahead of us. But obviously the aim now is just to stay ahead of Bottas, because Raikkonen, I think, is well up. He's 12 seconds up the road and he has made his pit stop, so that's disappointing. As you can see there, our DRS has failed once again, which is going to be very disappointing if the Williams of Bottas does pass us. But as you can see now, he does have DRS plus his straight line speed as Bottas. He's going to go up the inside here. Will he be able to make the move? And no, he backs out. That's a very annoying thing that happens with the AI. They just back out massively. Fair enough they back out, but just don't back out that much. And lose so much time. But here we go with Bottas once again, who obviously backs out once again. But Bottas here is going to have to be careful, because I think Jenson Button and the McLaren is actually catching us up. So if Bottas backs out too much, then he could end up losing position to the McLaren Jenson Button. But here we go now. We're going to defend the inside of this line. So Bottas might actually have a go round the outside here, and indeed he is. Although we just break a little bit earlier, we outbrake ourselves and we cause Bottas to sort of having to go over that sausage curb there, which does lose him a bit of time. But now I think Jenson Button has actually caught up with this battle, as we now skip on to lap 29. As you can see, the gap ahead to Kevin Magnussen is a good 15 seconds, so we're definitely not going to be catching him before the end of this race, as we've got Bottas, who is going to go to the inside to try and make a move here. I think he might have actually got the move done. No, he breaks early once again, and will he lose position to Button this time? And indeed he does. Button, if you can see in my mirror there, made a beautiful move on Bottas, who was going slowly through the chicane. So pretty disappointing from Bottas's point of view, but great from Button's point of view. As you can see now on lap 32, Button is right behind us now, and he's got to do pre-traction out of that corner, and Button has already passed us here, although I don't know whether we're going to get DRS from this. I'm not sure whether we were actually ahead of Button before the DRS detection point. As you can see now, Button and Bottas actually battling behind us now. Will Bottas be able to get past Button before the DRS activation point? But the thing is, for Freddie here, he's going to have to defend from two cars right now. Button and Bottas are going to both go to the outside. Will he be able to defend from them? Braking late into the chicane now. Oh, he's so close to Button and just about avoided contact there. And once again, he did to Button what he did to Bottas earlier. And the Williams and the McLaren are still battling, some fantastic battling in this race. This race really was a slow burner overall, but it really did get exciting in the last few laps. You can see now Button trying to go for the move on us, but backs out, and now Bottas actually makes amends of that and goes through and up into P10. But as you can see there, Bottas did actually run wide himself, and a slow motion replay here. As you can see, Bottas running wide ever so slightly, but he did manage to keep ahead of Button. And now skipping on to the final lap, Lewis Hamilton has taken out this race win. And in fact, Felipe Massa has actually joined the battle with us now. As you can see, there is now a dot behind Jenson Button on the mini-map, and that is the Williams of Felipe Massa. Obviously, we are in a very tight battle with Williams and the constructors, so it's crucial that we finish ahead of them in this race. As you can see, and we've got Bottas behind us, who's going to try and make a move desperately for the final point today. And by the way, it does say Grosjean's in 9th, but that is just a glitch. We are actually in 9th at the moment, as Bottas is going to try and get 9th place here. And no, he backs out, but will he end up losing a position to Button or Massa? You can see they're battling behind us, battling the AI are battling to the line, but I think we're going to come through in 9th place, and Bottas comes through in 10th to pick up the final point. And wow, that was a fantastic race. As I said, a slow burner, but really did end up being a fantastic Grand Prix. As you can see, our teammate Nico Hulkenberg in 6th, so some brilliant points there for the team, and it really does make up for what was a disappointing race in Monaco. And as you can see, Button just about finishing ahead of Massa. So yeah, that was a very good race, very good battling, and as you can see, we are still in 12th in the standings, 12 points behind Felipe Massa, and in fact, we have actually moved ahead of Williams in the constructors. I believe that is 2 points now separating us. So really, they are our main rivals, along with McLaren. So let's hope we can beat both those teams come the end of the season. But anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.